Hi students, welcome to your online A&P 2 course. I'm really excited to be teaching this. I'm your instructor, Leah Madison. I thought I'd make you a quick little YouTube video kind of walking you through the course because I know sometimes it can be overwhelming when you're trying to figure out what it is you need to do for your course. So because we don't meet in class, I'm just going to give you a little tutorial of your course. And you'll find that it's pretty much the same every week in terms of the way it's laid out, but let's start with a few things here. So at the top block, there is my email address. If you need to contact me for anything, feel free to send me an email. There's a news forum where I might post some information for you to send you some news. This is the Center for Online Learning Help at CCV. I'm just going to click on this and I will show you that you can see you can get some academic support. The Moodle Medic is here. There's kind of an introductory video and there's just a lot of great resources here, including you can get free online academic support through e-tutoring. So if you need help with anything, please feel free to also reach out to these other resources. So that link is there on your course. This is what I refer to as a book, this little green icon right here. So if you click on this book right here, I'm going to do that for you right now. It talks about the requirements for the course. So one of the things that's required for you guys is to have this thing called PhysioX, and I'm just going to show you. It should look like this when you order it. This is PhysioX 9.1. Some of you might have 9.0. That's okay too. It will work. And you can get it on Amazon or through the bookstore at CCV. And I'm going to do a little demonstration with this so that you understand how to use it. The other thing that you have is access to a free textbook. And when you click on this link here, it'll take you to an OpenStax resource where the book is. And if you see this right here, you can do a couple of things. You can get this book. I'm going to just click on it by downloading it as a PDF. The other thing that you can do is you can look at it right here. So I'm just going to show you this little tab right here where it says contents. It tells you what's in the book. So I'm just going to click again. And over here, the book is still downloading. And it's going to open up. So here you have your OpenStax college resource anatomy and physiology book. I really like this book a lot, and I'm just going to kind of scroll down so that you can see it's pretty simple to use. These chapters right here, and I'm going to actually move down. We're in the second half, so this is A&P 2. As we start to look at things, you can see the links here. This, for example, is the endocrine system, and if you click on it, it takes you right to it. There's some great pictures. There's a lot of really good links, interactive links as part of this book, so you can just download it as a PDF. One of the students that's in the course actually downloaded it and put it on a flash drive and wanted a hard copy, so she took it to Staples and had it bound, and I think she paid about $80 for that. So a textbook would cost you, you know, $200 or $300 for the package. So I'm trying to save money for you guys. I think this is an excellent book, and it's actually, I think it's a little better than a hardcover book. So those are the two things that you need for the course. And if you don't want to, you know, have a hardcover, you've got it electronically. Or as you're going through, you do have, if you have access to a CCV site, I know that you can print some of the chapters a little bit at a time if you need to do that. The other thing that I would say to you is that if you have anatomy and physiology book already, that's great because that'll supplement your course material here, and in the assignments I tried to point out that you know, this is the endocrine chapter, for example, is whatever chapter it is in the open resource book, but it might be a different chapter number in an anatomy and physiology textbook. So go ahead and check that out. This is another book here that I'm clicking on right now. This talks about the evaluation criteria and grading rubrics for the semester. So I'm just going to show you the discussion boards are 30%, your exams are 35%, the labs are 20%. The class presentation that you're all going to do is 10%. We're going to have a discussion board where you're going to post your presentations, and also the science news. So if you want to find out how they're you know, graded, if you look at this online discussion board grading, if you want to get an A, your contribution should be prompt, timely. They should show thoughtful consideration of the material, and your work is engaging, scholarly, with clear reading evidence per the weekly instructions, and all comments and postings are supported with reference to the text or other sources that have meaningful reflection to the topic. And also, I think it's really important, make sure that you are checking your spelling, do a spell check. One of the things that I ask students to be really careful about is thinking about what they're saying when they're posting. So I call it netiquette. I think you may have heard that term before, social netiquette. So really think about what's appropriate to post and what's not appropriate to post. I have some pretty strict rules around making sure the language is appropriate, that you know, you are considerate, polite of your colleagues when you're responding to them. Try to address people by their first name when you respond to somebody on a post, and really do a good job, and an in-depth good job of what you're talking about. And some of the other rubrics that are here, also the science news. This is, I'm going to show you a sample presentation of that, the class presentation. This is the criteria for it, and I will talk a little bit about that too, so it makes more sense. Then the labs that you're going to be doing, we want to make sure that you've done a thorough job, that you've answered all of the questions, that there's no incomplete data, that things aren't missing. Okay, so I actually loaded the PDF of the open resource textbook here. This folder contains the syllabus, the weekly assignments, and the rubrics. So again, here's that same CCV lab grading rubric. This is your fall syllabus, so that you can take a look at that. I'm going to open that up actually right now, and I just want to cover a couple of things on this. So the essential objectives for your course for this Anatomy and Physiology 2 are listed here. So we're going to talk the first week about the special senses, and there's no actual chapter, although I've tried to link you to some of the readings as in the book that I think focus on the special senses. There's a couple of chapters in the neurological section of your book that really look at the senses, sight, sound, you know, touch, taste, and I think they do a really good job in that open textbook. Also, we're going to talk about the endocrine system, blood. We're going to talk about the cardiovascular system, the respiratory, digestive system. We're going to talk about the urinary system, fluid and electrolytes. The reproductive system will be the last section that we're going to do. And you'll be doing some lab reports that I've created, as well as using the PhysioX virtual lab CD. So the syllabus is there for you to look over. And then this is the weekly assignments, which I actually have open here. So this is week 1. We're going to start tomorrow. Class starts tomorrow, 9/8. And we're going to look at the special senses. I've posted a lot of really good resources for you. I'd like you to watch the Bozeman video, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And notice right here, you're going to have a discussion board. So when there's a discussion board, your initial posting to the discussion board should happen by Friday at midnight. And then you should respond to 2 colleagues by Monday at midnight. One of the things that I try to tell students is don't wait till the last minute. I see that some of you have already posted in the introductions, and that's awesome. I'm so happy about that. Don't wait until the last minute, because I feel like it's like talking to an empty classroom. So if you can get right in there and start posting right away, it's better. Than we can have a nice dialogue throughout the week. So your reading here is the A&P book online, pages 570 to 589, section 14.1, sensory perception. So it's not specifically a chapter on the senses, but it's a section in your book that pertains to it. And if you look here, I've tried to put the due dates on everything. So week 2, we're actually going to do a virtual eye dissection, cow eye dissection. And I have posted a lab report for you to complete and fill out. And notice you're going to have your first exam on the senses. Now, when you take the exam, you are absolutely welcome to use any resource that you want while you're taking the exam to answer the questions. You can use your books, you can look for the answers online, whatever you need in terms of resources for the exams. The exams open up on Tuesday. They are not timed. It will take you a while to complete the exam. You have the ability to open the exam, and then you can go back to it if you can't complete it all in one sitting. And the way to do that is you open the exam and you start answering the questions. And then at the very bottom of all of the questions, there's a little button that says submit. You can submit. It's not actually going to kick you out of the exam. It's going to take you to another screen, and if you scroll to the bottom of that, it'll say, you haven't answered all of the questions. Do you want to continue? And so don't click that button, because that'll submit your exam. But what you want to do is click the back button, and the answers that you did enter should be saved. When you sit down to take an exam, I would encourage you to have a sheet of paper to write your answers down to the questions as you're going through it. So for example, 1 is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, and save that, because every once in a while there is a problem with the Moodle exams. For whatever reason, students get kicked out, answers don't get saved. I do not shuffle the questions. The questions stay in the same order, so if you write your answers down on a piece of paper as you're taking the exam, you'll be able to go back in and complete the exam. If you have any trouble with the exams, just send me an email. You have all week to do an exam. The exams are due by midnight of the Monday ending that week. So again, just remember that if you have any trouble at all, to send me an email and let me know. So this is where the weekly assignments is also. I posted the document separately here. And this is a good tool to just print off in terms of time management, so that you can pay attention to what's due and what you need to focus on. This is the sample presentation that you're going to be working on for the course. And let me just open up your assignment. So you'll see that the week of 12/1, which is week 13, so you've got a little bit of time to work on this. the class presentations are going to be due. So that week for the discussion board, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you upload your class presentations, and you're going to all have a chance to look at each other's work, as well as responding and talking back and forth. So this is the presentation that I did. What I'd like you to do is pick a topic, think of a topic, and everyone needs to send me an email with the topic they're going to be working on, so we don't have 10 topics of the same thing. I try to make sure there's no duplication. And you're going to pick a disease topic or something related to what we're doing in Anatomy and Physiology 2, and you're going to do a little PowerPoint presentation on it. You're going to describe the anatomy and physiology, link it to anatomy and physiology. So one of the things that I did was I picked this topic called mindfulness, meditation, and relaxation techniques. And I'm just going to kind of scroll through this rather quickly. There's a little video here that I linked for you guys to watch. I did this on purpose because I think students get really stressed out, and this is a good way for you to kind of take some deep breaths and relax. If you notice here at the bottom of the PowerPoint presentation, I've typed in some notes. So when you start to do your PowerPoint presentation, you want to type in some notes down here at the bottom as though you were talking to the class, so that we can all take a look at that. Now I'm gonna move through this so you can see I've talked about what it is. What are some relaxation techniques? Again, I've defined it, so I've posted some YouTube videos here for you to look at. And then one of the things that I started to do was I started to link it to anatomy and physiology in terms of how does it impact the body, what is the system that it's associated with. So you can see there are several benefits to meditation. We're going to talk about the cardiovascular system here, and we're also going to talk about some of the nervous system relationships. And so I'm just going to keep going down. The effects of stress on the body, the fight or flight response. Here's what happens. The sympathetic nervous system gets activated in our response to stress. And as you can see, I talk about rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, and then I show you a little bit about the nervous system and what the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system divisions are. So I'm linking my topic to a body system and how a particular body system is impacted by stress, and what you can do to alleviate stress is meditation. So let's see. This again is another way to connect you to understanding how to do some meditation. John Kabat-Zinn puts up some great videos on YouTube. And how does all of this affect us on a cellular level? So this talks about that. So you can see this is an example of what I've done for the PowerPoint presentation that I'd like you guys to be thinking of. Mine is about 20 slides long. At the very end of it, you're going to put up a reference list. So I want to make sure that I see 3 really good references. And I just want to say that when I talk about references, I'm not talking about let's see, what is it? Online all the time. There are a lot of websites that talk about disease processes, and I'm just gonna pause because I'm gonna go find the one I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Try to stay away from WebMD as one of your resources. It's not always the best resource. What I'd like to see you do is go into the library and utilize some of the journals that are in the library. When you pick a topic, go to excellent resources. For example, is the National Institute for Health. Centers for Disease Control, CDC.org, the World Health Organization. I want to see you use good references, not all of the internet resources that are out there, and certainly not Wikipedia. I want you to think more like on a scholarly level for the work that you're doing with this, okay? So back to your course. That's the sample presentation for the course, and I'm just going to open the rubric here, the class presentation rubric, and show it to you. And here it is. So you get 4 points for the content, 3 points for the organization, 2 points for the formatting. I want you to use APA formatting for your reference list. I want to make sure that your grammar's good. Try not to crowd too much onto one slide. Make sure that you have an introduction to your topic and a conclusion at the end. So once again, go back and look at mine. You can use short YouTube video clips. I would encourage you to use all those things. So the rubric's right there in your course documents. And then the science news assignment is another piece of work that you're going to do that's worth 5%. And we'll also post those. So I want you to look at the sample science news that I did, and I'm going to go back to that right now and show it to you right here. So I think I actually have it open down here. So what I did was I picked a topic. I picked influenza. It's fall, and I am trying to encourage everyone to get a flu shot. Okay, sometimes the problem with doing the recordings at home is I get a phone call, or you might see cats walking around in the background too. But anyway, this is my science news, and so I picked influenza, and then I linked sites. I linked you guys to CDC so that you could see, and I'll just click on that right now. This talks about influenza and getting some information about flu basics and the flu vaccine. CDC keeps a list of this going on, so you can see there's information about the avian influenza here, the bird flu in the United States, canine influenza. Even our dogs are getting vaccinated these days. So it just is a really great resource. I love CDC. It's a great place to go look up things. And you can access this too when you're trying to look for resources for your discussion boards. So this is what my science news looks like. It's only a couple of pages. So what I'd like you guys to do is pick a topic, look at the topic, and you can go to Science Daily, or you can go to this Human Bio site, you can go to the CDC, the American Heart Association, the New York Times, and I'll just show you on your course that I've linked some of those resources for you. So just pick something from the site within the last 6 months that's of interest to you, and put together a little 2-pager. At the end of it, ask a couple of questions about the topic so that when your colleagues are reading your science news, when they respond to you, you can answer their questions. So my questions were, what did you learn about influenza? How does the influenza work on the immune system? And how long does it take to get immunity from the influenza vaccine? So one of the topics that we're going to talk about this semester is the immune system and the lymphatic system. And so I'm trying to show you that it's important to link it to what we're talking about in the course. And it just gives us a little bit of different conversation within the course, different things to talk about, expand your knowledge. And over here, I have linked the New York Science Times. I'm just going to click on this so you can see it's a great resource. There's some different topics: warming oceans, putting marine life in a Blender, The Fight to Save a Prairie Chicken. You know, there's just so much stuff here that's interesting. Are we shifting to fewer, weaker Atlantic hurricanes? So again, the science, the New York Times Science Time. I've also linked you to Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a great resource. I've posted some videos for you. Sal Khan does a great job breaking down really complex, tough topics. Here's the Science Daily. This is a link to the Human Body book. And I'm just going to open this up so that you can see what this looks like. Okay, this is another open education resource that's available to you through the Harkness Library. And this is all related to anatomy and physiology. And so I just want you to see some of the things that are here. We're going to talk about the endocrine system, the cardiovascular. It breaks it down, it makes it easy to understand. And I'm just going to keep scrolling down here so you can see all the different things that are in this. So it's a great resource to use. Here is a link to the senses. And so part of your reading for this week, touch, taste, and smell. I'm just going to click on this resource so you can see it again. And it gives you some really nice pictures of how smell works in the brain. And as you can see, it talks about the nerve impulses, the different receptor cells, and I'm just going to keep going down through. So these are some great pictures. So once again, the Human Body book is another really great resource in terms of looking at things and trying to understand the material. Here's an APA formatting link, so if you don't understand how to use APA, American Psychological Association, this is a great resource to help you understand that. And this week, here we are, special senses. So every week when you open up the course, you're going to see that it's pretty much laid out the same way. So you'll see your lesson objectives for the week. You'll see your assignments and content. So I've put up some lecture PowerPoints that you can breeze through if you want to. This is a great video. Bozeman Science is a great resource. Short videos, 10 to 12 minutes. He does a really nice job explaining things about the special senses. And then I put up the reading assignment right here for you so that you know what you need to read. And again, if you have an A&P book of your own, chapter 15, in any A&P book talks about the senses, so that's another resource. CCV often has A&P books on reserve that you can look at while you're there, so avail yourself of all of those resources. So this is lesson objectives for the week. So for this week starting, we're going to look at sensory mechanisms, and we're going to talk about neuroreceptors, how they receive stimuli, how receptors function in taste and smell, how we detect sound waves, etc. So I'll let you read through that. And again, I'm going to scroll back down here. Assignments and content, web links, different media on the 5 senses, articles that might be of interest to you or things I've posted. The brain makes a call on which ear is used for your cell phone. Kind of interesting. Now, this is a wiki book on the census, and I don't usually like Wikipedia, but I've looked at this particular resource, and again, it provides some information that might be helpful. I'm hesitant to post those sometimes because I don't always think it's the best. And then this is the discussion board, and you can see it's going to open up tomorrow, September 8th, and you'll have some questions and you can start posting. So again, this week, what's due is, I'll just scroll back up to your assignment here. Watch the videos, do the readings, And then next week, you're going to have an exam on this information, and you have a discussion board that's due this week. And now I'm going to show you a little bit about PhysioX before I end this video. Again, this is PhysioX 9.1. I've already put my CD in the computer, and I'm just going to go to it so I can show it to you. Right here is PhysioX, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to click on PhysioX, the little icon, the little red F, that will help me run the program. And I'm just going to pause this while that's opening up. Okay, so here it is. So the CD has opened up. And one of the first things that we're going to use this for is the endocrine system. So I'm actually just going to go there and show you endocrine system physiology. And I'm going to click on one of the activities so that you can see some of this, because this is what I want to make sure you understand. When you are assigned an activity in PhysioX, if you look across the top here, there's several tabs. So this gives you an overview of the endocrine system. This talks about the objectives for activity 1, and you read through those, and then you go on to the introduction, and then there's a pre-lab quiz. So you answer these questions, do the pre-lab quiz, because it's going to be part of your report that you're going to generate in the end for me. And that lab report, there's a tab right here, will generate a PDF document that you're going to upload to the course. So do the pre-lab quiz. Here's the experiment. Go through, so you'll see it'll say you haven't answered all the questions, but I'm going to continue. This is going to show you the experiment that you're going to work on, and it walks you through things step by step. So you're going to do that, and as you're going through this, it's going to record your answers right into the lab report. So the pre-lab quiz will get dumped automatically into the lab report. The answers to your experiment will get dumped into this lab report, and then you're going to do a post-lab quiz. So you want to answer all of that, and that'll get dumped into the lab report. And then last but not least, there's a review sheet, so you want to answer those questions as well, and that'll get put into the lab report. And so you can see, click View Experimental Results if you need to review your results from the experiment to answer a question. So you run the experiment, you can look at your results here to answer these questions on this side. Then after you've completed the review sheet, you can view your answers in the lab report. So then you're going to go to the lab report, and obviously I don't really have a lab report completed, but here it is. It tells you what I've done and what I haven't done. And right here is a little button that says Save to a PDF document. So you're going to save that PDF document. And then on the Moodle course, there'll be a little assignment box that says Upload your lab report here. Now that's when you're using PhysioX. Next week we're going to do a cow eye dissection, and I've posted instructions for you. There's a Word document. You're going to answer some questions, and you're going to upload that. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll leave this posted so that you can go back to it and refresh your mind a few times. If you need to, look at the different explanations of your course, the course documents, and the requirements. So I'm really looking forward to working with all of you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. All right, take care. Have a great semester, and I'll be talking to you soon.